Hello, and welcome to CDI Tech Summit. My name is Matt Gary, and I'm a Senior Technical Lead of Employee Workflows here at CDI. And I'm joined by Greg Scoble, Senior Solutions Consultant, Employee Workflows at ServiceNow. We're thrilled to have you join us today as we explore ServiceNow, or how ServiceNow is elevating the employee experience with the power of the Now platform. So let's dive in. First, I'd like to start off with a quote here from Gartner. And this is related to the post-pandemic world and all the COVID craziness that we're experiencing right now. But as organizations deal with the uncertainty caused by COVID-19, it has become imperative for them to prepare for short and long-term impact. Organizations that continue to hire or onboard new hires need to ensure they understand the needs of the new reality and tailor their processes accordingly. So I think this fits in very well with what ServiceNow is doing currently at the moment with the employee experience. And this really ties into a quote from our founder, the founder of CDI, Eric Baker. And he's been saying this for nearly 3 decades since he started and founded CDI. And that is, happy people are productive people. And I absolutely love this quote. I think it rings true today more than ever. I think keeping employees, managers, knowledge workers engaged and productive has never been more important. And ServiceNow is really driving that digital transformation for building these exceptional employee experiences to keep employees engaged, happy, and productive. Both CDI and ServiceNow have been recognized for workplace culture, and both companies run their businesses on ServiceNow. ServiceNow's HRSD capabilities modernize the employee experience, helping organizations achieve automation, self-service, and sophisticated workflow across the enterprise for all employees. So in this session, we're going to dive into how ServiceNow is creating a better employee experience, streamlining the onboarding and offboarding processes, and becoming the employer of choice. Here's a little bit of background from ServiceNow's perspective in regards to their customers and specifically their HR customers. So you can see here ServiceNow has over 5,500 customers worldwide, and 1,000 plus of those are HR customers. On top of that, 740 plus million employee interactions per year, and over 260 million employees supported.
Perfect. So traditionally, when people think of ServiceNow, they think of an IT ticketing system. The bread and butter of ServiceNow and where we were founded was IT service management. However, as you can see on the screen here, we've gone much further than that. ServiceNow employee workflows are really helping organizations rapidly accelerate their digital transformation across the enterprise. So what are they doing? They're really removing any of the friction from the employee experience. And we try to meet employees where they want to be met, whether that's in the office, on a tablet, on a phone with a chatbot, or even a social app. Thinking about how the world is operating today, it is so important to make sure that employees really feel as if they are part of the organization, no matter where they are sitting. So thinking about, the digital workflows that go across the enterprise, to see that these complex moments like working from home or returning to the office, something that we may not have done in the last year, any sort of remote onboarding, leaves of absence, employee relation issues, reboarding from a furlough. These are all experiences that are so important and oftentimes go across the enterprise. So thinking about what falls under employee workflows, we have HR service delivery. That's really the bread and butter of where we started from an employee's workflows journey about 10 years ago. Over the last year or two, we've made vast investments in things such as workplace service delivery, the future of the workplace. What does that look like? Getting people back to the office from a safe workplace standpoint, procurement service delivery, connecting all sorts of back office and front office solutions, and of course, legal, making sure that your legal department is also being taken care of from the intake process all the way through resolving any issues that your employees have. As mentioned on the last slide, we have over 1,000 HR service delivery customers using ServiceNow today. And that's really going to speak to some of the innovations that we're making in all of these areas. We have a department internally that is over 200 plus employees just focused on the employee experience and how it spans across the enterprise. You can go to the next slide. And so because of that, we really have a unique lens into some of the moments that matters. As a market leader in helping organizations really deliver services to their employees, we have that unique perspective into what are some of the most common employee service needs? What do we see and hear every day? Some of these material moments that impact employees the most. Almost every employee can probably relate to them. We've likely experienced them ourselves. And unfortunately, a lot of these experiences were probably not so great because today, when employees have questions or need answers, they're really exposed to all the complexity around siloed process systems and departments. A lot of solutions that you use internally are probably very great at their specific niche, which is why you originally invested in them. However, thinking about how we can connect across the enterprise to make sure that we're really meeting the employees where they want to be met is going to be most impactful. Take a moment, take a step back, think about your own internal processes. Can you identify some of the most common employee service needs in your organization, or has it been a little cumbersome? Again, because we have the flexibility and the insight into thousands of customers' interactions on a daily basis, we can help provide a foundation as to what are some of those needs. We provide a lot of the out-of-the-box solutions to combat some of those, but also moving forward, stepping on board with ServiceNow, we're going to be able to provide you an impact like no other to your organization because you're going to be able to look at what of your employee needs and how can you make sure that they're having great experiences across the way. But when we often go through these, again, the complexity is there because their employees oftentimes don't know who to reach out to, or maybe they actually do know who to reach out to, but it's someone who is just tribal knowledge. They're going to that person instead of going through the normal process. You can go to the next slide. And so as we can see here, being able to identify where to go shouldn't be an employee need. Today, while thinking about the service needs that are going to be the most common and familiar to almost all employees, getting help with them is often anything but easy. They involve multiple departments and systems. Some are IT related, some are HR, some require facilities, finance, or legal. And some of the more complex moments, like onboarding, offboarding, or a leave of absence, require coordinated support and services across multiple departments. When departments deliver services separately with different portals, systems, and processes, they are really just only solving for a piece of the puzzle. Again, thinking back to an interaction where maybe you're ordering an Uber, there's going to be multiple different steps to that process, but as the end user, you're only really seeing that you need to pick a location, a time, and where to go. That should be the same experience you're providing from a professional standpoint for your employees as well. And with that, we can jump into some of the solutions to see kind of how that looks. Go to next.
Perfect. Thank you, Greg. Before we dive into some of the solutions, one quick thing we wanted to point out is the adoption of HR service delivery applications. You can see from this pie chart here, there's a number of solutions out there, but ServiceNow just stands head and shoulders above the rest in terms of adoption. So I think this really speaks to the functionality within ServiceNow and also the ability for employees to consume these services in a user-friendly way. So ServiceNow is just head and shoulders above the competition in this regard. Okay, now diving into the HR functionality, we're going to start off with case and knowledge management. And this enables HR to manage their service interactions with employees without relying on things like phone calls and emails, which we all know can be quite cumbersome and very difficult to track and maintain. So this allows HR to standardize the documentation, the interaction, and the fulfillment of these employee inquiries and requests while having visibility into the quantity and type of cases coming in. So service levels are improved and HR efficiency is dramatically increased when leveraging the HR case and knowledge management here. And with that, knowledge management, when used within HR, it's leveraged to ensure the accuracy and consistency of information being provided to employees. So this can be extremely useful and helpful for not only employees to be able to find the information that they're looking for and when they need it, but it also can dramatically decrease the level of effort from the HR side. So we can streamline processes and decrease costs from having removing some of those roadblocks that may be in place for HR agents to be able to fulfill these services. One part of this with the HR service piece, so we have a catalog which allows employees to go in and request these services. So by doing this, it allows us to improve the employee service experience. We can accelerate service delivery and reduce those HR operational costs by simply providing a menu of services that employees can choose from, and then backed really by the efficient workflows and automation that ServiceNow provides. Next, we're going to go into the enterprise onboarding and transitions. So this allows HR to easily automate the onboarding and really any other employee lifecycle events that span multiple departments. So onboarding is a prime example of that. When a new employee is being onboarded, it requires coordination from multiple departments, not just HR. So IT would potentially need to be involved if we need to order any laptops or any IT related hardware and software provisioning for their laptops. Legal can be involved when we're signing documents for the onboarding process. Procurement can also be involved, as we're ordering laptops and other equipment that's needed for an employee. So with these enterprise onboarding and transitions, it really allows us to have that single entry point for a new employee to get started and allow us to coordinate with all of the other departments within this life cycle to be able to make streamline the process as much as possible and ultimately to improve the employee experience. The efficiency of HR and the other departments for that matter is drastically improved. It's fast, consumer-like service makes it easy for employees to get what they need done and to get back focusing on their actual roles as employees. So thinking back from a personal level, I'm sure all of us have joined an organization at some point in time, and during that onboarding process have probably felt it could be a little bit better. So with ServiceNow, that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish, is to make that experience as streamlined and as efficient as possible, to really help employees get back to what they want to do and what they were hired to do, rather than having to fumble around with different pieces of the onboarding process and who to go to for these different areas. So this really helps us streamline that process. There's a few other pros to the enterprise onboarding and transitions. First and foremost, it quickly and easily, we can put together onboarding experiences and processes that HR can maintain. So they can easily create it, modify, and maintain these cross-departmental onboarding processes, or any onboarding, or any cross-departmental process throughout the organization, without the need for any complex coding, process maps, workflow editors. So it really puts the power in the hands of HR to create and maintain these processes moving forward. Next, we have the Employee Service Center. So the Employee Service Center is a service portal that gives employees a single place to quickly and easily get all of the HR services that they need. So this is the one-stop shop for HR processes. So this allows employees to go in. They can, in the beginning of an employee's life cycle, they can come in here, complete any of the to-dos they have, register for their benefits, sign up for payroll. Any of that can be completed here in the Employee Service Center. Additionally, once the employee has been onboarded and they are officially an employee, this employee service center gives them that single view to be able to go in and request services from HR, and also to see if there's any action items that they need to take throughout the process or the life cycle of their employment. From this employee service center, we have quite a bit of flexibility. So we can make this a custom branded site, use Google style search fields to find information about policies and procedures. As I mentioned, we can use the employee service center to open cases, kick off a process, or even chat with subject matter experts. Additionally, HR is empowered to push out targeted communications and or task employees to take required actions that may be part of part of a corporate communication plan. So this really just it enhances the efficiency of HR because it empowers employees to go in to the employee service center and really take ownership of what they need in terms of any HR requests, but also to leverage the knowledge base as well. Any knowledge, HR related knowledge that they can leverage to find and assess any issues that they may be experiencing, and then being able to resolve those issues by themselves. So I think that really helps from an employee experience perspective because that empowers you to really take action on what you're looking for and not necessarily have to rely on the HR organization to assist you with what you're looking for.
Yeah, and to add on to that, Matt, all good points. Just think about one of the slides we saw earlier on where we had IT, procurement, legal, workplace service delivery, all of these different departments where traditionally today, oftentimes there's going to be a different portal for each business unit. Thinking about a new hire who's coming on board, it's going to be very difficult to find out who to reach out to, what portal to go to, and oftentimes, even those people who have been in the organization had a hard time adopting that because it's, again, so difficult to find the information they're looking for. We see on average that an employee spends about 30 to 45 minutes a day looking for some of these more common request items or knowledge articles, and oftentimes they actually don't find what they're looking for. So being able to have a centralized portal where the employee can find everything they would need, that's going to be most beneficial. We like to refer to here at ServiceNow, the Employee Service Center as the system of engagement or the system of action for all of your systems of records. So again, really the starting point and connecting the dots across the entire enterprise is going to be where you see a lot of benefit from the Enterprise Employee Service Center. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, that's awesome, Greg. Thank you for that. And one more thing I'd like to add to this as well with the Employee Service Center and in conjunction with, typically you'd see this in conjunction with the onboarding processes, but through the Employee Service Center and also the mobile app, which we'll get to in a little bit, we have the ability to, or really HR has the ability to create and edit personalized PDF forms by mapping fields to existing employee information or asking employees for additional information, which then we can generate a customized and personalized PDF form. And then we can have employees, have those or provide their electronic signatures for acknowledgement. They can print, save, sign, and scan the PDF just like any other document that you would. And really this again ties back into the enterprise onboarding and transitions as well, and being able to really define these cross-departmental processes and make it as streamlined and as easy to use as possible for the employee. Because again, thinking back on personal experiences, having to download PDFs manually, having to provide a wet signature, scan it back in and send it, that can be quite cumbersome. So being able to leverage that within the Employee Service Center, I think is tremendously valuable and really adds to that employee experience. Next up, we have Virtual Agent. So the Virtual Agent, this gives employees real-time support to basic inquiries without HR staff. So these virtual chat conversations, they enable quick guidance to information, ease of creation when necessary for any of these HR requests. So it improves the employee service by automating these repetitive inquiries and frees up HR so they can focus on the more complex inquiries and issues that require their attention with that. Along with virtual agents, some of the highlights of it. So it's a simple interface to find answers to these common questions. So as you can see on the slide, we have that chat showing right there on the right side of the screen. So this is that simple interface and really a conversational chatbot, which we can leverage to find answers to any typical questions that we find, and also just to help us if we can't find the answers we're looking for, to help us create those HR cases to submit those requests in which we're trying to get these services fulfilled. With ServiceNow, they provide these pre-built conversations, so it makes the setup and use faster and easier. So we can use those conversation topics for general inquiry, pay discrepancy, profile updates, and leave requests. Really just some of the most commonly asked questions from employees. So that's another, I think, great value with ServiceNow is it provides these pre-built conversations which you can leverage. And then obviously you can build your own customization or your own custom conversations that meet your organizational needs and what your employees are commonly asking from the HR organization. Another part of the virtual agent too, it's not just included in the Employee Service Center. So although we have this showing on the Employee Service Center, there's plenty of different channels in which we can leverage the virtual agent. So we can embed the virtual agent in a different web page or in other collaboration tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams, which really just further enhances that employee experience. So it's just that omni-channel approach where we can, use the virtual agent in ServiceNow in the Employee Service Center. We can use it in any of the other third-party chat apps that we may be using in the organization. Also embedding it in different web pages, so potentially an intranet page as well. So this just really speaks to the power of the virtual agent and really empowering employees to take ownership of some of the knowledge that they're seeking and or the requests that they're looking to submit. All right, so next we're going to talk about performance analytics for HR service delivery. And this is really the next evolution of ServiceNow's in-platform analytics, which this allows your organization to anticipate trends at its core. So this solution, it's designed to allow you to see how you're trending against the goals you've set, how you're doing before those goals are set, and how you're likely to do in the future based off of this data that we have. For example, let's say we want to get the insight into the time to close HR cases, whether that's trending up or down based on past performance. Additionally, we can easily identify employee case trends based on previous tier 0 or tier 1 requests, or even base that on seasonal case trends. So now you can use the power of your own data to anticipate these trends and react before something becomes a real business issue. So at its core, performance analytics allows us to evaluate these trends as it pertains to our HR services and determine if there needs to be any action that needs to be taken in order to continue to provide that excellent employee experience for each of the HR services that we're providing.
All right, thanks, Matt. And so thinking about personal life and professional life, oftentimes it is so different. If you need to update something at work or go into your benefits, chances are the first thought is I better go step over to my laptop. I better go into my office. I need to do something on my computer. In this day and age, knowing where the employees live and just overall experience around the globe, we've understood that mobile first is a huge priority in digitizing the enterprise. So thinking about interactions, whether it's starting an onboarding process where you don't yet have a laptop and you need to do some of that pre-work, or you're out and about shopping around and you need to get an employee verification letter. I need to update my personal information. I need to check on a status. All of this flexibility that you have today in your life currently is going to be supported with the Now mobile app across your enterprise. So thinking about how we can leverage coming back to the office, we can actually transition to the next slide here, Matt. And so again, thinking about our experience over the last 10 years as an employee workflow business unit, we are constantly innovating and staying up to date with not only industry trends, but what's going on globally and how that's impacting the workforce. So thinking about a very pressing topic currently today in the market, how are we going to return our employees back to the office, knowing that the new normal is never going to be the same as it once was? We need to be able to provide employees with the flexibility to determine whether they want to come into the office, what days they're going to come in. Do we need the overall capacity and footprint that we currently have? So thinking about things such as workplace reservations, space management, space mapping, especially if you're not going to be having assigned desks. I need to be able to understand where my desk is going to be located and is it available. Having reporting and analytics to be able to understand, are people coming into the office? Are they not? Do we need the full space that we currently have today? And are we being as productive as we possibly can at home? Again, providing this flexibility both on a mobile and on a desktop has been extremely successful with a lot of customers that I work with today across the globe. And with that, we can continue on. Once getting back to the office, we really need to understand safety protocols. So again, constantly innovating with what's going on in the world. We were able to, within just a couple of weeks, provide a full application suite on what we refer to as our safe workplace applications. As you can see, there's quite a lot available under this, things like employee readiness surveys, testing sentiment to see, are people even looking to come back to the office? If so, how can we do employee health screenings? How can we have requirements to understand, are these employees healthy enough to return back to the office? And once we're there, how can we continue to monitor what is going on in the world? Thinking about contact tracing, what desks did they book? Who have they potentially been in contact with? Everything that you could imagine, from making sure that you're having a positive impact on employee sentiment on whether they want to come back to the office and do they feel safe coming back to the office, is really going to help with that culture moving forward. And to wrap things up, we can jump to the last slide here. Returning back to the office again, just being able to hone in and understand that you're going to have multiple different locations. These locations are probably going to have different rules and regulations based off of state and federal laws that are, of course, taken into account. How can we provide that seamless interaction? As an employee, I should be able to go onto my mobile device when I want to come into an office, take care of any requirements that I might need to do in just a couple of steps, reserve a desk, and be on my way. Maybe I get to the office and I forget that I had to do that. Again, as I'm walking in, being able to go through these steps, thinking about how the world is digitizing and how we can meet our employees truly where they need to be met in order to be as productive as possible. And of course, that is all going to roll up into ServiceNow's bread and butter of dashboards and reporting. How are we doing at each location with each phase as we continue to return back to the office?
All right, thank you, Greg. So this slide here, we just wanted to give you guys a holistic view of the Now platform and all the functionality and capability that entails. So as you can see here, there is quite a bit of functionality and business process that ServiceNow has built into the Now platform. So what we've talked about today, you can see highlighted in the yellow. So everything right there in the middle of that oval there, that's kind of the core Now platform functionality. And everything around it, that is all the business processes and these business applications that have been built onto the platform, which allows organizations to leverage this functionality. But specifically for our purposes, you can see that along with the legal service delivery, the workplace service delivery, safe workplace, HR service delivery, all of that functionality and that employee experience that we've discussed today really leverages all of the innate capabilities of the Now platform and allows us to really drive the digital transformation to accelerate and create these exceptional employee experiences. So with that, that takes us to the end of our presentation today on the employee experiences in ServiceNow. We really appreciate your time and thank you for joining us. Greg, thank you so much for having us and look forward to talking to you all guys soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt.